YouTubers! It's time for another random anime tier list! I've done this 4 times now, I feel so old. None of that matters though, I enjoy making these videos, I know you all enjoy watching this video, and I know my friends enjoy taking part in this video, even though it makes them question their sanity. So why don't we bring them here? Hawthorne! Ironzaku! Reveal yourself!
Hello, this is only my second time doing this.
Just when I thought the madness was over, I get pulled back in again. What's up, everyone? This is Ironzaku.
It's good to have you two back.
Oh, absolutely, and I can tell that with the randomized picks that you got, we're going to be in for quite an experience.
If only I was the one who picked these. So, while these two are getting settled and having a quick look over what we're tiering, why don't I go over the rules and what is happening with you all? So first of all, for the picks that we got here, we went to my anime list and hit the random button to pick out the anime that we'll be tiering. So none of this has really been my choice, even though I've watched this. My anime list is the website that picks out these anime. And if you've seen the past tier list videos that we've done, you know my anime list likes to throw me under the bus when it comes to ranking these anime. Speaking of the tiers, let's quickly go over them. We've got Masterpiece right on the top. These are anime that are absolute masterpieces. We see no problem with them. We absolutely enjoy them. We've got Amazing. They may have some faults, but they are still amazing anime. We've got Good. These are good anime. We still see faults, but we still say, yeah, they're pretty good. We've got Watchable. Anime we probably only watch once and then never watch it again. We may remember it, but that's as far as it will probably go. And finally, Never Again. Self-explanatory. We don't want to watch this anime. It could be dropped. It could be thrown away. We don't care. We don't want to watch it. And of course, when it comes to ranking these, we got to keep in mind as well that some of these anime have continuing seasons. So we will involve these seasons as well, as long as they are seen as one long continuous story. If they're seen as separate, we'll be ranking them separate. So take, for example, the Pokemon season. Even though it is one long continuous story, a lot of people will see it as multiple different stories. So for Ash's story, if we get one of his anime series, we'll be focusing on the Kanto story, Johto story, etc. But they're already established as they're seen separately. But just like last time we did this video, if it's One Punch Man to One Punch Man Season 2, we'll see it as one long whole storyline while giving opinions on the different series, because it is one long continuous story. And of course, the most important rule when coming to these anime, guys, these are our opinions. I've watched these anime, I'm giving my opinion when it comes to the story and everything in between. I don't know if Ironzaku or Hawthorne have seen these anime, but if they have, they'll be their opinions. They can give their opinions depending upon what they hear, but it's still their opinions. If you guys want to give us your opinions, whether you agree with what we say, disagree, or you're neutral when it comes to our opinions, you're more than welcome to put it in the comment section down below. We'll love to hear you guys' opinions on the tiers that we put these anime. And of course, while you're down there, why don't you backhand the subscribe button? I hear if you hit hard enough, you can learn the Kamehameha. So with all that out of the way, Ironzaku and Hawthorne, are you guys ready for this tier list?
Absolutely.
As ready as I'll ever be.
So to start us off, the first one we're going to be jumping into is one that holds a very special place in my heart. BoBoBo-Bo Bo-BoBo!
I mean, to say this anime is nuts would be one hell of an understatement.
Oh yes. One
yeah.
hell of an understatement.
I've only shown you guys like 3 episodes out of all of BoBoBo, and you two already know it's insane.
Like, I don't think either of us can, like, describe the insanity perfectly, other than the fact that what we could do right now is just hop into the plot synopsis for what this anime is about.
And what a perfect segue that was. So the world of BoBoBo involves a hair hunt kingdom going around trying to make everyone bold. So our main protagonist, the Botector himself, BoBoBo, go around trying to stop the hair hunt kingdom and let everyone live with their hair, along with some wacky shenanigans and insane moments. Very simple.
And can I quickly comment as well if I'm allowed as well?
Mm.
Because if I recall from the anime, one of his iconic fighting styles, which I believe is called Fist of the Nose Hair, I just love how it's such a subtle reference, or maybe not subtle, but I just love how it references Fist of the North Star, if anyone's ever heard of that franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many super fists out there that it's surprising. Some of the most iconic ones is like you said, Fist of the Nose Hair. We got Super Fist of the Backwind, Super Fist of Ultimately Evil Scissors, Super Fist of Gorgeousness,
Beautiful.
Absolutely amazing.
and of course we can't forget the most powerful power of them all, Wigging, which is basically the ability to do whatever the hell you want as long as it's funny.
Okay.
And yeah, not just funny as well. And if I recalled as well upon researching in my own spare time, BoBoBo's powers are so nuts that in the manga, if I recall, he even at one point managed to drag in Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Almost got
Yes.
mixed up, my bad.
Yep. All to finish off a board game. A never-ending board game.
And the way Yugi did this was summoning Sly for the executive producer.
Yeah. And if we're going to talk about references as well, I think this was one of the episodes I showed you. They did make a Dragon Ball reference.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Yeah, there's probably so many references out there, it's probably impossible to name them all. I can't really think of any others because a lot of the stuff that I see is just insane, but you just got to enjoy the insanity of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And of course, I did really like the English dub as well, which I believe is the more comical adaptation of BoBoBo, because if I recall correctly, isn't the sub version a lot more serious, but the English dub is a lot more funny?
Yeah. I want to say it got like the same treatment as like Ghost Stories, where they were told to improve upon it. But I think if that was the case, they definitely did an amazing job improving on the comedy. And speaking of the subversion, I may as well say something that honestly shocked me to the core when I learned this about BoBoBo, and that it got cancelled, and that's why it ends on a cliffhanger.
Now, with you mentioning that it ended on a cliffhanger, I'm kind of curious to know if the show ended on a cliffhanger, does the manga at least continue onwards? Is that a finished story by any chance?
Oh yeah, the manga continued way ahead. I think like there's probably like one more arc or so that never got adapted, which is quite a shame. Really, it does make me want to eventually try and get the BoBoBo manga and see what happened. I don't know if the English version is if there's like a full physical version, so this might be something I'll have to look up online. But yeah, it continued on. But
Right.
But do you want to know the reason behind its cancellation?
Go on.
Parents were not happy about BoBo. They thought it was too immature for their children, or something along those lines, and that's what got BoBo cancelled.
Like, that's normally the kind of stuff that I would expect from, like, parents in the West that complain about cartoons being too violent and that, but this actually kind of caught me off by surprise.
I know, BoBo getting canned, that doesn't seem right to me. There's far more insane stuff that's in children's shows that would get them cancelled, but no, apparently a big blonde afro man using nose hairs as whips is apparently too much for young children.
And a blonde Afro man who potentially could be one of the strongest characters in shonen history.
I still stand by that. I've gone on record and say I think BoBoBo can beat Goku. I still stand by that.
And another question I have as well for shits and giggles. Could he beat MCU Thanos?
Well,
I think so.
I know he could because, get this happened in one particular episode. He faced off against an enemy who had the power to make them face their worst fear. So BoBoBo altered his fear. He made his fear him turning into a kangaroo being part of a basketball team as well.
Oh god, a basketball kangaroo team.
Yes. He also, as well, when the bad guy was like, what the hell is this? Turns around, kicks the bad guy and go, what kind of nightmare is this? Acting like he didn't do a thing. Which is true, he didn't. He got hit by the beam and that happens. But you're that strong to alter your own fear to something insane. That just shows how powerful you are.
It shows how much of a Chad that BoBoBo is.
Yep.
And since
Now,
I've...
chat comments aside, I did enjoy my time with what you showed of the anime, and I'm definitely going to check more out in my spare time. If I have to give like an early ranking, I would definitely put it high up on this list because of how much fun I had.
What about you, Hawthorne?
I very much agree, but I'm gonna say it's gonna go. I would personally put it in masterpiece because of its humor alone.
You've read my mind, actually. It's going straight into Masterpiece. When I first watched BoBoBo, I fell in love with it. When I saw the cliffhanger ending, I thought it was a very good ending, not knowing that it was cancelled. So, but considering the dub is fourth wall breaks so often, they talk to the audience, the narrator talks to us. But to know that it continued on still makes it a masterpiece in my eyes. I wish we could get like a reboot or a second season of BoBoBo. It's been so long now since this has came out. It will be great to see it again, but that's probably wishful thinking.
I mean, I kind of wish it would get like a follow-up or a reboot as well, but I would say it would go one or two ways. It would actually be executed really well, or it could potentially be one of those animes that incorporates some really rough CGI, and we all know how well those kinds of shows go.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at you, Berserk 2016, and your shitty animation.
But be honest, if we did get a BoBoBo remake and it did incorporate the shitty CGI, the characters would point it out.
Oh, definitely.
I think that might actually win me over if they actually acknowledged that. I would give it so much respect.
It's not the first time either that they pointed out some terrible animation problem. I think the final episode they even acknowledged that the bad guy was terribly designed, but most of the budget went to his powers. Next up is one that a certain black and red hedgehog says is amazing. Kill la Kill.
And I gotta say, I gotta agree with Shadow here. It is damn good.
In his own words, I like the anime with the edgy girl and the scissor blade. That is true. Look it up, guys.
So who wants to go over Kill la Kill synopsis?
I can if it's alright.
The stage is yours.
So, the show Kill la Kill follows Ryuko Matoi with her sentient schoolgirl outfit called Senketsu with her scissor blade to Honoji Academy, where she tries to fight the student council who all have superpowered clothing. And then it devolves into Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, definitely. I know the comparisons. I'm not joking. The more that this anime goes on, it literally has the plot resembles Sonic Adventure 2 so badly that I had some fun with it.
Yeah. I gotta say, Kill la Kill is an amazing series. The action is one of the best parts about it.
And it's also drawn and animated extremely well by the very well-renowned Studio Trigger.
Who has brought out some amazing anime in their career.
Oh yes.
Lots of good animes.
And it's one of the very few anime as well that got their own video game that even got imported over into the West. It's very shocking to see how little that happens, but when it does, they bring over some amazing stuff.
And need I mention one of the best characters in the entire show, Gamagori.
Oh boy, Iwagamagori. I mean, can I just comment right out the bat that he makes, again, such an entrance in the first episode, within the first few minutes, all because one of the students stole a Goku uniform.
That's one way to start an anime, just bring in a big hulking man that can mass change at will.
And not to mention that Gamagori continues to chase down that said student by falling outside of the building while the student is running down the stairs frantically. How insane of a pursuer he is.
He's determined.
Yeah, got it. And need I also mention that he has mad respect for women? Not only to his boss, Satsuki, but also to Mako.
Who is also one of the best comedy highlights as well for Kill la Kill.
That does remind me of a little detail that does get sort of like missed out if you are a dub only watcher. Because whenever she does the pose, whenever standing in between Ryuko-chan and whoever she's facing and giving words of encouragement, she, you know when she does the like mini poses whenever she's giving inspiration?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Ryuko and that, yeah.
Apparently, those are like wordplay. If you watch it in Japanese, she's basically like miming what she's saying. So it's like a play on words sort of thing. Considering the Japanese love to do a lot of play on words when it comes to like humor, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
But for us dub watchers, it's just entertainment.
Of course, the Kill la Kill English dub does slap, so no comment on that.
Yeah.
So, where would you guys put Kill la Kill?
I personally would put it in Masterpiece because I'm gonna say this here and now. It is my favorite trigger anime.
I would definitely rank it that high up as well. In something like top 3 Studio Trigger animes, personally. Yeah, it's definitely up there. I like it.
I think you two have convinced me, really, to put Kill la Kill in Masterpiece. Because I have to admit, when I first watched Kill la Kill, I binge watched it. I didn't think it was going to be amazing, because it was one of those anime where, like, everyone said it was amazing, but no real, like, comment on why it's amazing. But I can see why a lot of people would say it's a masterpiece. Even now, still calling it a masterpiece.
Also, if I'm allowed to throw in a quick comment, make sure that when you're watching Kill la Kill, you make sure that no family members awkwardly walk in watching this anime at the worst of times. I'm sure
Yes.
you understand why.
Watch this in private.
Yeah, this may be an anime about sentient clothing, but you'll be surprised how little clothing there is. The next one, guys, is one that I have fell in love with this year. Trapped in a dating sim. The world of Otome games is tough for mobs.
Now, unlike the first 2 anime that we discussed, I don't know much about this one, so I am going to be mostly left in the dark.
Pretty much the same here.
Yeah, because this is an anime that I fell in love with this year. And honestly, I need to get you two to watch this. This is absolutely insane. It's not as insane as BoBoBo, but the comedy is almost as good. If not, just as. As for the synopsis, it's pretty simple. It's your standard isekai story. Our main character is forced to play a video game from his sister because she wants to write a review. So he plays this game only for it to be terrible. It's a reverse harem story. You play as a main character trying to get one of 5 princes. You play as the princes in fighting parts of the story only for their stats to be utterly terrible. They're so terrible, he even pays microtransactions in the game in order to actually progress through the story.
So our main protagonist pulls out his credit card, is just like, I'm going to waste my money on microtransactions. God dang it.
Yeah. So he plays it all the way through, even get in the reverse harem story. After doing that, he then decides to get some food, only to take a swan dive down some stairs, to only wake up in the world of the Otome game, which of course he cannot believe.
So he got isekai to that world by just falling down the stairs.
Yep, no Truck-kun this time.
It
No Truck-kun.
makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. No Truck-kun or near-death experience from a tractor from Konosuba, which I stumbled upon last time, but I remember to correct it. Also, for those watching, Do not attempt to fall down the stairs in hopes of being isekai to another world. It will not go well.
No,
Do
do not
not
go
fall
look.
down the stairs and hope to be isekai to Genshin Impact or some shit.
Do not go looking for an unmarked white van, hoping to be isekai'd. Don't go looking for tractors to hope you wet yourself in order to get isekai'd. Don't do any of that. Back to the story, though. Our main character tries to live a simple life, only for his grandmother to give him to one of her friends in order to be rid of him. So he decides to use his knowledge from the game in order to get the ship he paid for, becomes filthy rich, and then enters the school that's based on the game. After that, a whole load of shenanigans, character involvement, mecha fights, girls, and insane reactions.
That's certainly a lot for one show.
I agree.
Keep in mind, though, that the character hates the game, considering they've got mechs, but they've also used magic, so it's like, pick one. You either use one or the other, not both.
I mean, you could use both fantasy and sci-fi if it works as well. And just to quote the film The Road to El Dorado, both. Both is good.
Yep, both is good.
But one of the things that does sell me on this anime is, again, the reactions. Every time he gets a promotion, when he's prepared to, I don't know, either be expelled from school or exiled or whatever, he just freaks out and goes, "Ah! No one's told me I was going to get a freaking promotion!" Because all he wants is a simple life, not to be royalty.
A man who wants to live a peaceful and quiet life. I wonder what that could be reminding me of.
But yeah, it's definitely an anime I want to introduce to you to eventually.
Yeah.
I can imagine right out the bat you're going to rank this pretty high up because, again, we have not seen this one, so in terms of rating it, we can't give a full comment.
Nah. Well, I'm going to be putting this in Masterpiece for its reactions alone. The comedy is really funny. The reactions is great. And you got to appreciate a main character who turns around and says, "I'm not the bad guy they want, I'm the bad guy they need." All to teach some snobs a lesson. You got to appreciate that.
I guess so.
Yeah, I can appreciate becoming the bad guy the world needs.
Next up is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
This is one that I've seen a few clips for. I've never actually watched any episodes of.
Similar statement here. I've seen like bits of it online, but not seeing the entire show. So I'm not sure if I can provide much in terms of commentary on this anime.
Well, this is one I actually had to revisit before we started recording, and it's probably a good thing I did as well, but I will get over why that's the case as well. But let's go over the story. Our main character, Belle Cornell, wants to grow up and be a hero. So he went off to become an adventurer and joins a party where he's the only member. I should also point out as well that in this world, the guards decided to live among their own people in exchange for losing their magic powers. So Belle decided to follow under one goddess named Hestia, who has no following. So he is her only member. So you can imagine how grateful she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is so grateful that she is also smitten with Belle. And she doesn't hide it.
Not even in the slightest.
Not even in the slightest. She's a goddess and she throws herself at Belle.
Oh, fair enough.
Same.
So throughout the season, Belle goes to some dungeons which you can access in the middle of their town, go on quests, and gains public recognition for its adventures. Eventually even gain more friends and more party members.
Sounds like a fun, typical fantasy anime, if I'm going to be honest.
It is a pretty fun one. The action is really good, and they do add a bit of gore factor into this, so you do see like blood, the monsters getting shish kebab and blood flying everywhere if you're into that sort of thing. So it's like realistic dungeon adventures.
Hmm.
I can see how that might win some people over.
Yeah. But this is where I say it's a good thing I revisited. Because for me, I have a weird relationship with Girls in a Dungeon. Let me explain. It's because when I got into Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, it was roughly around when season 2 was coming out. And unfortunately, there is a huge gap between when the seasons come out. And by the time the next season came out, I forget what happens in the previous season, or at least like characters and how they are linked.
Hmm.
So, how many seasons does this have, if I could ask?
If memory serves, there is four seasons total, about 12 to 24 episodes. I want to say 12 mainly. I could be wrong. With a movie as well.
Oh, right.
So a lot.
So a lot. But it's still an enjoyable watch. I loved the first season revisiting that. It was definitely a fun watch. I enjoyed watching Belle rise up through the ranks. I enjoyed Hestia and her attempts, as well as trying to hiss off any girls that go near her Belle. I am not kidding. She says Belle is hers, right to their face.
Oh.
Oh, God.
There's also a bit of mystery behind Belle, but I think I'm going to let you guys visit that if you ever choose to watch Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon.
Hmm.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
As for ranking this, since I revisited, I gotta say I did really enjoy it, and I have to agree with the fan base, Hestia is bestia. So I'm gonna put this in amazing. It does knock off points because it's so hard to remember. Maybe if I like watched it from season 1 all the way to 4, it'll be more memorable because then I'm not trying to remember previous storyline, which will be hard to remember. But maybe
Yeah.
watching the whole will be a different experience. But yeah, at the moment, when it comes to at least season 1, it is really amazing. Next one up is one that took this year by storm, Oshi No Ko.
An anime that I have not seen, but I do know it's a thing because the opening song was really popular.
Oh, so popular it hit the global Billboard charts.
It hit global?
Yeah, it hit global. It was the number 1 global Billboard chart song.
An anime opening being number 1? That actually caught me by surprise.
Yeah, it's even got an English version as well, and I gotta admit, it is pretty good. Though I did do an experiment with some people who never paid attention to an anime opening, and they tried to listen to the words and they couldn't really get it, if that makes sense. So I think it's probably the Japanese version that hit number 1 rather than its English equivalent.
Makes sense.
Speaking of Oshi No Ko being number 1, it is estimated to be Anime of the Year as well.
Now, I haven't seen this in full, so I can't comment whether or not I think it deserves Anime of the Year, but let's continue talking about it.
Let's start with the story, because honestly, it's gonna be one hell of a ride, as episode 1 is an hour long.
An hour-long episode?
Yep. So if
Damn.
you're planning to do the 3-episode rule, it's probably best to just do it with the hour-long episode.
Yeah.
So basically view it like every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But what's the story of Oshi No Ko? Well, before we get to our main characters, we gotta talk about 2 other characters. Sort of. We start by following a doctor who looks after a cancer patient who introduces to him an idol group which he then becomes infatuated with. So already we're starting off with something heavy.
Yeah, I can imagine right out the bat.
Doesn't help that it's a little girl.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
moving on, I think like a year or so later, another patient suddenly appears for our doctor, and it's the idol that he fell in love with, and she is pregnant. So he agrees to deliver the kids, which of course she then has to keep on the down low that she's pregnant because, well, she's an idol. Later on, when he was gonna go home, a mysterious figure arrives asking if he's Ai's doctor, only to start running away. The doctor goes chasing after him, only for him to suddenly get pushed off a cliff.
Oh.
Right off a cliff.
Right off a cliff. He instantly dies, only for him to wake up as Ai's little boy.
Well, that's a bit weird turn.
Okay.
So he gets reborn as one of Ai's twins, and he gets to remember his past life as well.
That is interesting to say the least.
Something.
I may as well say his twin sister is also a reincarnated person. And do you want to guess who it is? Because I've already mentioned that person.
The cancer patient?
The cancer
Yeah, the patient.
Yep, she got reincarnated as Ai's daughter.
Damn.
So of course they grow up as Ai's children. Ai decides to name the girl Ruby and the boy Aqua. Probably because they have similar color eyes. So Ai shows the world of entertainment while growing up. Ruby wants to eventually grow up to be a idol like her mom, while Aqua kind of gets infatuated with the world of acting thanks to a director, even getting a role as a creepy child in a horror movie, which is pretty cool. And of course,
Yeah, pretty cool.
And of course, they're still fans of Ai, so of course, being babies, they still get up out of their cot just to watch her perform. You can imagine the look on like their babysitter's face when they just get up, walk, turn on the TV, and watch the idol.
I can definitely imagine.
Unfortunately, though, the first episode doesn't end with a happy ending.
Oh.
Because during one peaceful afternoon, Ai gets a knock on the door and gets greeted with the wrong end of a knife.
Oh no.
While holding on to Aqua, while having her body against the door so Ruby can't get in, she slowly passes away, the star in her eye fading away.
That is a pretty dark way to end off an episode, if I gotta be honest.
It gets a little bit darker because Aqua vows revenge.
And we got revenge on top of that as well.
The story goes on to like Aqua trying to figure out whose Ai killer is, trying to protect Ruby from the entertainment world, and we learn a bit more about the entertainment world, sort of like the inside of it, like what fans would normally not see, but like the whole inside of it, like how much goes into their lives in order to become either like an idol, an actress, singer, etc. Which is quite interesting, honestly. I honestly stayed for that.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, they go so much into detail that there's one episode based on a true event, which is quite shocking. It's probably like the darkest episode throughout Oshi No Ko. When you hit it, you'll know you've hit it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil what the episode's about, but trust me. At least...
Oh, I understand. I
least,
understand.
Yeah. Wait until you hit that episode. You won't believe it.
Yeah, I understand. Now, if I'm allowed to comment on this quickly with how it like is both like a commentary on like idol and the entertainment industry. The only other anime that I watched that is kind of similar but tackles it on a lot more disturbing manner is the anime film Perfect Blue. And if anyone's seen that, well, you'll probably know what I'm referring to. So I'm not going to go into too much detail.
Well, I might as well also say Oshi No Ko did so well that it is getting a second season.
That's good.
And hopefully, I know what comes up as well, but I don't know if it will be in second season. But I can't wait for that part of the storyline to pop up because it goes into a lot more details about like characters, especially their mental states, which I'm looking forward to really see.
Understandable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. So I guess I should get to ranking this before I go on because there's so much I could talk about with Oshi No Ko. But considering
Definitely. I would probably imagine you're going to put this in Masterpiece if I'm allowed to place a prediction.
yeah, because I've said it deserves to be Anime of the Year. Many people think that, and I have to agree with them. It's definitely a masterpiece.
Again, I have not seen this anime in full to comment whether or not I think it's anime of the year, but I will probably put it on my watch list down the line.
Definitely. Next up, guys, is one we're going to have to go back to school for. Assassination Classroom.
Oh, Assassination Classroom. That's this is quite the anime. The last time we saw it.
This is another one that I have never seen, but I've seen a few clips of.
We really got to get you to watch Assassination Classroom. I'm actually rewatching it right now. Not for this video, I started rewatching it way back, but it's still an amazing watch even now.
If you're watching it early on, I'll join in with you for Assassination Classroom. But just to get back on topic, what's the plot synopsis like for those who have not watched Assassination Classroom?
Well, the story is quite simple. It involves an unkillable teacher who has the power to blow up a huge chunk of the moon. He decides to give Earth a year to live, but while that happens, he wants to be a teacher for E-class inside of a school for the gifted or like very smart students. Something along those lines. Basically, if you get to that school, you can go anywhere. And E-class is the bottom of the barrel, full of troublemakers and kids that will not make it anywhere. So he chooses to teach them and do better.
And not only to do better as well, but the students that Koro-sensei teaches are also given one main goal, as you can pretty much pick up from the title of the anime. They have to kill their sensei, Koro.
Yeah, they actually he didn't have a name, so they actually chose to name him Koro-sensei, which is pretty cool. Koro is short. It's a short Japanese word for unkillable. So Koro-sensei literally translates to unkillable teacher.
Ah, right. And as you could also imagine as well, trying to quote-unquote assassinate him is easier said than done because Koro-sensei packs a lot of insane abilities.
He can move at Mach 20, be able to take a barrage of bullets and have the bullets melt inside his own body. There's so much other hacked abilities as well he has, but we will be here all day. But there is a way to kill him. There is a certain material that does affect his body, so the class does have like knives and bullets made out of the stuff to try and attempt to hurt him, which is easier said than done.
Okay, at least he's nice enough to actually give them a fighting chance.
I guess, yeah. But one of the things that does make this show impressive for me is the fact that it's more of a comedy than an action. Even Koro-sensei goes on record to say that he's the comic relief of his own anime.
That is actually quite funny, that is true.
So I guess we should get to ranking this, because honestly, I feel like if we keep talking it, we're going to go into spoiler territory, and I don't really want to spoil this. Especially...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially since this is an amazing anime, in my opinion. It's done extremely well. So I don't think anyone's going to really complain if I put Assassination Classroom in Masterpiece. Because it deserves to be a masterpiece.
Fair enough.
Nothing wrong with that. Also, since we finished off Assassination Classroom, I just noticed the next contender, if I'm allowed to do the introduction for it.
Go ahead.
And next up, everyone, is an anime that is going to take us back to our digital childhoods, Digimon Adventure 02.
Now, this one, I think it's going to be hard to talk about, because Digimon Adventure 02 is a continuation on the original 1999 Digimon Adventure.
Especially with how it does focus on a new cast of characters from the last anime, although Kari does make a return and joins the 02 cast. And if the 02 cast look familiar, then that's because they also featured in the Digimon movie that came out in the year 2000, during the last act when they adapted Hurricane Touchdown and the Golden Digimentals.
I like that you mentioned Kari returned, but you ignored TK. I'm
I
guessing
mean,
you're...
in my defense, it's been like a long, long time since I've seen 02, but it is what it is.
I swear, Davis is probably in the room with you, and he's like, "Don't you dare mention TK."
Oh god. But anyway, I can't add any more further comment to that.
Well, I gotta say, I do like what 02 eventually does. It isn't as dark, I think, as the original Adventure story. I think they toned it down just a little bit. So, and if anything, it's more like psychological horror that they kind of do in 02, especially with plot lines like 02 and Black War Greymon.
Also, Black War Greymon was a solid highlight of that anime. I will
Oh,
agree with
yes.
you on that one.
Oh, definitely. But I do like the Digivolutions they introduce, like the armor evolution and DNA digivolving. But yeah, it's very difficult to talk about 02, isn't it? Like, I could talk about how the Dark Ocean storyline never really got a finish, did it? It was just left there as like a bit of a plot device.
Yeah, it definitely felt a bit unfinished, if I could say so myself, but I did appreciate how, in comparison to Digimon Adventure, 02 does introduce like new things that weren't shown, as mentioned in the original anime. Do I think it's on par with the original Digimon Adventure? Not quite. I would say that as a follow-up sequel to that show, I think 02 ain't bad at all.
Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely
Oh, and
as a
let's not forget as well, I just remembered the 02 cast are going to be returning for a new Digimon movie. However, I do not know if it's going to be coming out here in the UK, so fingers crossed.
Yeah. Us UK people don't really get that much love when it comes to Digimon until like it gets a media release. But I do hope the new 02 movie is really good. I mean, Last Evolution Kizuna, I think it was a good movie, so I'm hoping that what's the new 02 movie called? I hope
The
that is
beginning.
good. 02 The Beginning. I hope that is gonna be good. I mean, it looks good from the trailers and little clips that people sneakily took from the cinema. But yeah, it does
Gotta
look
throw that
good.
in there.
Just throwing it in there just because, let's face it, people are doing that. There's no denying that. But I'm pretty sure you two would agree with me where I'm going to put this. I think we're going to have to put it in amazing. It's not a masterpiece, but by
Not
all
quite
means.
like with the original that we ranked last time, but I agree with it being an amazing.
Yeah, it is an amazing
Mm.
series. It's definitely a good add-on to Adventure. Do I think it'll be good standalone? No, because I think you need the knowledge of Adventure to fully understand 02.
I mean, if you're going from Digimon Adventure to 02, I think it will be a much better experience overall. I don't think it is one of those animes that you can just hop in and just expect to know everything. But, as mentioned, I still think 02 is a fairly solid anime overall.
Yeah.
Next up, guys, is another one I watched this year, Liar Liar. And for the record, no one's pants is on fire.
I was just about to ask that question.
So just to make it perfectly clear, just in case anyone was thinking that's a long ass title, no, the title of this anime is Liar Liar.
Now, as mentioned with some of these titles on this list, this is also an anime that I have not seen, so I don't know if I could provide much.
Same here. I've not seen it, so I might not be able to apply much.
Well,
So
if
I guess this is the part where you sell us this anime, Artie.
Well, I may as well say this is definitely an anime that I know you two would definitely enjoy because it's a gaming anime.
Oh, fair enough.
It involves an academy that sorts things out through games, believe it or not. And in the very first episode, our main character, who is a 0-star, because, well, he's a new student, he has not taken part in any games, eventually comes across a 7-star player who think they sort of done something to her when he really did nothing, and then challenges him to a game. And I believe the game is like first to react loses, so you gotta make your opponent react. And this is where we sort of learn about the game's situation. So you can challenge them to any sort of games, but players can have like abilities or cheats in order to make the game a bit more interesting. For example, I believe our 7-star user uses an ability that knocks our main character's time limit in half, pretty much putting him at a disadvantage. So those kind of abilities make the game a bit interesting. So he wins the game by doing nothing at all, and he knows he gets a special coloured star. When he asks the head teacher, who apparently he talks to a lot, gets told that this is a special star, allowing him to make any lie real as long as he possesses it. So with
So
that,
it's a one-time thing where any lie you say is absolutely convincing.
yeah. So he uses that red star to say that he's a 7-star, making him one of the best gamers in the school. So now he has to try and keep that lie real by making sure he never loses these games. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 where they did all these different games each episode, except it's not as dark.
Nowhere near as dark as that, I can definitely see.
No one gets mentally tortured, no one gets cooked. It's just basically games, you play it, cause and effect, and all that.
I mean, I pretty much like what I've heard about the synopsis, personally.
Certainly an interesting premise. Definitely different than. So all I can compare this to is Kakagurui, because I've seen a couple episodes of that, and it doesn't. To me, it sounds a little better than Kakagurui, but not as good, if that makes sense.
Will it help if I say the games they play, honestly to me, look like games that you could probably play in our world, in the real world?
Well, that's neat.
Like, of course, the reaction thing, you could probably play that in real life, but I don't think you'll get cheese unless you find a way to make that legit. But they're like other games they play. I remember there's like one game they play that involves an entire building, so that'll probably be interesting. Just put each other over like a Discord call in the entire building, and you can probably play that game. But where to put such an amazing anime? Well, I just said it. It's going in amazing. Because I want a season 2, and I don't know if it is getting a season 2. I do like it. It is almost a masterpiece. Since I've not read the manga, I don't know if it's getting a season 2 or not. There's probably something on the screen right now that says that there is a season 2 or not. But until those conflicts, those plot lines get resolved, it's amazing right now. Like I said, the games are really good. I want to play some of those games IRL if it's possible.
I'll definitely might have to put this on my watch list as well, now that you've described it all.
Next up is one we're revisiting, Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan.
And I think this time around we do have some knowledge of it because you did show us, I believe, a few episodes of it, but this is going to be an interesting one to talk about.
Yeah, I think at the very least I probably showed you clips of the first episode. I don't think I've shown you the entire first episode.
I mean, it's been like a long while, so let's tackle this together, shall we?
Yeah. So let's get this over with. Starting off with the story, it involves an angel that came from the future in order to stop our main character figuring out the way to make every woman on the planet eternally young at the age of 12. So as soon as the girl hits 12 years old, they stop growing, meaning they're forever 12.
This sounds very, very concerning.
It does sound very concerning.
And of course, the angel has special magical powers. She can bludgeon our main character and then bring him back to life.
In an extremely gory manner.
But very comical at the same time. Just to get over and done with, there is one weakness of her angel. If she loses her halo, she comes down with extreme diarrhea.
And that was something I did not expect at the time.
What a weird weakness.
Like, imagine, like, if you are an angel, right? Only for someone to quickly nick your halo, and all you suffer in return is constant diarrhea. I mean, you'd think it would be anything else, but diarrhea?
I mean, what happens happens.
This is also a very short anime series. I don't think it even hits 10 episodes. So, this is honestly not really an anime you're going to sit down and expect like an amazing story or interesting storyline. This is very short, and it's honestly slapstick comedy. So, I think I stand with where I put it last time, if you remember, Zaku.
I believe a long while ago you did put this in watchable.
Yep. It is still watchable.
Me, personally, I would put it in never again.
I mean,
Just
to be
from those couple episodes and the synopsis you've given.
I mean, judging by what I've seen as well, I would probably join with you, Hawthorne, and probably put this in Never Again because realistically, I don't think this is one of those animes I'm gonna be revisiting anytime soon. Like when I think of like other comedy animes, they usually win me over a lot more in terms of jokes, characters, and other redeeming qualities.
But like I said, it's just watchable. You can watch it once and never go to it again for like the longest time. Honestly, Bludgeoning of Dokuro-chan, it is. I still find it pretty funny, but it's not really exactly an anime that I'll go like. If I wanted to watch a comedy, I'll watch this. It's just one of those anime like you can put it on the background to like pass time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one, guys, is Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion.
A very popular anime at the time that I do remember back in the day. However, it has been a long while since I last seen it. But I do remember one thing about it that I think you brought up on one of your YouTube shorts, if I'm allowed to bring it up.
Go ahead.
Wasn't it the anime that really loved to throw in a lot of product placement for Pizza Hut?
Yeah,
Because I remember that this anime had Pizza Hut advertisements a lot.
Yeah, and they love doing it so much they just did it everywhere.
Exactly. That's what something that did make me laugh about it.
So let's quickly go over the story. It involves our main character Lelouch getting the powers of Geass, which allows him to control people who look into his Geass eye. Only though he can do it only once per person, so one command per person. He uses the power of his Geass to fight against Britannia and to help people of Japan. But in this anime, they're also known as Area 11.
Okay. Is this the Hunger Games?
Well, don't forget there are giant mecha that they use as well. So if you want a good mecha anime, this is probably for you, especially when it involves the power of the Geass to control people.
Which I will say is something that I'm slowly starting to remember as well. It does have some pretty good mecha action as well. It is really good.
Yeah. I especially like the interactions with Lelouch and his best friend Suzaku, especially when they're friends at school but they don't know it, but they're enemies on the battlefield. That kind of dynamic is pretty good, honestly, especially when you know Suzaku joined the Britannian army to try and help Area 11, or Japan, depending upon how you want to call it for the sake of this anime, within the army, while Lelouch chooses to join the Japanese resistance to fight against Britannia, his birthplace. So it's a kind of interesting dynamic.
Oh, definitely. And also, if we're allowed to discuss, Lelouch is one great anime protagonist, if I might add.
Definitely. He's definitely one of the smartest out there. I'd say his intelligence is rivaling Light's probably in IQ.
Oh, really?
I'd say so, because they're sort of similar. Light uses the Death Note to get his way, and Lelouch tries to use the Geass to get his way.
Yeah, pretty interesting similarities.
Except Lelouch, I think, is more of the ladies' man. I mean, he's got 3 girls going after him in this series.
Like, he does have a lot more going for him, which in comparison to Light, he does go on a much more darker path in that anime.
Yeah.
Or one of these things Lelouch has above Light is mental stability.
Oh, definitely.
So that just confirms it. Lelouch is a better protagonist than Light confirmed.
Alright, so
Can you hear
when...
that? Off in the distance, a bunch of Death Note fans got pissed off.
I am prepared.
We are prepared. We'll get Lelouch to step...
I am more prepared than Leonardus from the 300 Spartans.
We'll just get Lelouch to stand in between them, doing his signature pose. Lelouch V. Britannia commands you. Back off!
Also, for those watching who are Death Note fans, please understand I am not dissing Death Note at all. I do think it's a great anime as well. We did discuss it in the past.
Yeah, we're only saying this for comedy purposes. Put your pitchforks down. Back to the rebellion though. Where would you guys put Geass?
Judging by how much I'm slowly starting to remember now, I would definitely put it much high up on this list, in my opinion. I would even say put it in... I'm going to be honest, I would say put it in Masterpiece.
From the descriptors you guys gave, I would be putting it in amazing.
Ooh, a tiebreaker. Let's see, we got some amazing girls in Code Geass. The mental fights between characters is really good, especially the strategizing they do. So I have to agree, we need to put Pizza Hut advertisement, the anime, into Masterpiece. It's not going to Masterpiece just for its Pizza Hut advertising. It's got good action, good fight choreography, amazing story. It even got like a rebuilt series, like Evangelion. It got its own like movie series that's like a retelling, but with its own different ending. Or maybe it's the same ending, but with different tellings. Who knows? Next up, guys, is another one that holds a very special place in my heart. And in my pants. Highschool DXD!
Also known in our friends group as the Mightier Mayamon's favorite anime.
But let's quickly go over the story of Highschool DXD who don't know what we're talking about. Well, Highschool DXD involves our main character Issei Hyodo. Basically, one of 3 students who is hated by, well, everyone in this school. But he eventually gets a date with this girl who is literally his first ever girlfriend. So he takes her on a lovely date. Only on sunset, she turns her around and goes, "Will you die for me?" And literally proceeds to kill him right through the stomach. I may as well say if you want info.
Oh my.
That's gotta hurt.
On his deathbed, he can't think of anything but red, as in the colour of a certain redhead's hair, who magically appears in front of him and says, "Don't worry, I will save you." He then wakes up to find that his wound is magically healed and no one remembers the girl he took on a date. So while going around trying to find answers, he then comes across another man who attempts to kill him again. Only this time, he gets saved by the same redhead woman, only for him to wake up butt naked next to her, butt naked, and she proceeds to say, "You're my servant now. You're a devil like me."
Okay.
Like, I think it's fair to say, just to bring up this comparison, if you thought Kill la Kill was pushing the lewdness of things, High School DxD is a whole new level of ecchi.
High School
Yeah,
DxD set a new level.
Yeah, to put it in music terms, if Kill la Kill is number 10 on an amp, High School DxD is the overdrive pedal.
And just like with the previously mentioned anime, this is also one anime that I think we can all agree is not the kind of show you would want any family member awkwardly walking in on you watching, because they will have a heart attack.
I will say, to go on record, if you guys think High School DxD is the worst ecchi anime when it comes to lewdness, there are worse out there. There are some that do what High School DxD does and puts it on another level entirely. There are much more lewder ones. I just think High School DxD is like the progenitor of those. It shows that there can be another level.
I am more inclined to believe that is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, like the edginess, it does provide a plot in the story. It's like it's there. Like some of the lewdness comes from like clothes getting ripped and all that from a fight, which I might as well say is believable. It's more real.
Yep.
And let's not forget, Issei is a high school student. Can we acknowledge that high school boys are extreme horn dogs?
Oh boy, is he one hell of a horn dog.
So yeah, see, it's explained. It's understandable. Does it excuse it? Probably not. But it's
No.
understandable why it's like that.
And also, if I recall as well, since you talked about this anime a long time ago, it does have some pretty good action, I will say.
Yeah, the animation is pretty good. Even after the studio change, when they go from sharp to soft, it still holds up pretty well. I know a lot of people hated the soft animation for a while. I liked it, especially since it fits more to the manga art style. And of course, dragons. If you've been on this channel long enough, you know I really like my dragons. Okay, so let's get to ranking, because clearly you two are not going to be watching this anytime soon, or will admit that you two have watched this, will you?
Again, I only know of Highschool DXD because of, again, the Mighty Amemon story that we discussed in the past. So ranking is definitely up to you, Reese. Also, apologies to Connor as well, but still, well, I can imagine him typing a message to me on Discord later.
Well, I'm still going to say High School DxD is still amazing to me. It's still great, and it's going straight up into masterpiece. Even with the whole story problems it gets with season 3 to 4 because of studio interference, it's still really good. The action is very good. The action is really good. The storytelling is very good. It's still a masterpiece in my eyes. I know a lot of people are going to give me looks for that, but I don't care. Next up is a next generation anime, Boruto, Naruto Next Generation. Now for this one, we're going to be talking about the movie Boruto, Naruto Next Generation. Mainly because the anime series is still ongoing, and I've honestly put that on hold for the time being. I still need to go back and watch it because I hear it does get better. But when you're an anime series that is famous for being 70% filler, I had to draw a line in what to rank for this one occasion.
I mean, if we're going to be honest, and to be fair, the Naruto franchise is known for having a lot of filler.
Not as much as you probably would think. I think it's like 40-something% filler.
So you're saying that the Boruto anime has more filler than the Naruto series?
Almost double.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god. But anime show aside, I haven't seen the movie for Boruto. I only know of Boruto through its reputation, should we put it lightly. But honestly, haven't seen much of this to comment, so I'll leave it to you again.
Yeah.
Hawthorne, have you seen anything of Naruto or Boruto?
I have not seen anything of either. With Naruto and Boruto, there's only like 3 characters I care about. Gaara, Rock Lee, and Hinata.
I give you props for Hinata. Gaara and Lee, I'd say that's a good eye, honestly. But it's mainly Hinata, good job.
Yeah.
Thumbs up to that.
Yeah. As for the Boruto movie, it's basically like the first few chapters of the Boruto manga. The story of the movie does get retold, but redone as well within the Boruto season when they get the first load of filler out of the way. But as for the movie, it follows Boruto entering the tuning exams and the pressure of being an Hokage's son, and just Boruto being a jerk to Naruto because he's the Hokage, not having any time for his family, and chooses to cheat his way through the tuning exams, along with bad guy targeting the tail beasts and eventually Naruto, and how Boruto gets involved and tries to save the day.
Okay.
I can imagine that this is certainly a story where the new generation protagonist starts off as like a whiny twat, but do they at least snap out of the habits and become better for it?
Yeah, I'll admit that. Eventually it does. This is one of the problems, though, I do have with Boruto. He's pretty whiny. He basically, like, gets... He can accomplish a lot of things. He starts off as like a genius, he knows of it, he's big-headed of it, which starts off with him being a downfall, which is why he doesn't see any problems with cheating, especially when it comes to the tuning exams.
Fair enough. Again, I haven't seen the Boruto movie, so in terms of other aspects of this movie or the Boruto series in general, I can't give much comment on it personally.
Honestly, I'm not really surprised because I'm struggling talking about Boruto. I've been a huge Naruto fan for years, so I want to say like this movie's like the final Naruto movie before it starts off being Boruto's journey. Because like I said, they retell and reinterpret the story again within the Boruto series, but this one is more like Naruto movie sort of thing, where like it slowly transitions to be more focusing on Boruto. If that
So
makes
more
sense.
akin to like passing off the torch.
Yeah, but something like to please Naruto fans before they have to start watching Boruto. Which, don't get me wrong, is nice. I was looking forward to Boruto and hoping things go great, but then it just I just slowly started to like lose interest in the Boruto series. As for the Boruto movie, don't get me wrong, it is pretty good. The action is entertaining. There's two particular fight scenes I absolutely adore, but it's Boruto. That's the problem with it. As much as I want to get into Boruto, it's very hard for me to get into Boruto, which is a shame.
If it helps just to put the pieces together, would you say that the Boruto series, that you are struggling to watch it, would be somewhere in watchable, but would the movie be like a tier above it?
I'm going to take your suggestion and probably put it in good for now. Maybe one day I will revisit Boruto, and maybe my mind will change on it. Clearly YouTube and TikTok think that way because I keep getting Boruto clips. Next up, guys, is another one that is special to me. Your Name.
If I'm jumping the gun here a bit, masterpiece.
Yeah, agree. Masterpiece right out the bat. I mean, normally I know we would have a discussion about it early on, but since we've all seen this one anime, I think it's fair to say that we're just going to jump to the ranking straight away. Then we'll discuss everything else, because Your Name is the pure definition of masterpiece.
Alright, but let's at least talk about it first before I do put it into masterpiece, since we're already saying yes, it's masterpiece.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, it's Your Name. What else can we say about this movie that hasn't been said already?
But for those who haven't seen Your Name, the story is actually pretty simple. It involves a boy and a girl who end up swapping bodies. Though it's very annoying for them at first, they start to appreciate it and they're making each other's lives better. And in the second half of the movie, there's a mystery behind why the body swapping suddenly stopped as they try and find each other. It is a great love story, and I love the whole representation of the red string of fate, is it called? I like the representation of how they show that off. And I admit, it's one of the movies that does make me tear quite a bit.
Yeah, it's quite the emotional ride, to put it lightly.
I must say, it's one of the first Japanese movies I've ever seen. First in sub, and then later in dub when it came out. Which is very rare to do. You have to have a huge representation, a huge rating for someone who at the time was mainly watching things dub to go, you know what, I'm going to try the Japanese version before the dub even comes out to see if I do like it. That takes huge cred to get someone to do that. Oh, and can we of course say that the art style is amazing?
I mean, the animation, I know I'm going to break the rating for this one, but the animation is like 100 out of 10.
Yes.
It is that beautiful. It is that beautiful to look at.
So as you guys said, it belongs in Masterpiece. Definitely a movie I would watch again in a heartbeat.
Agreed.
Yes.
Next up is one that's quite a tease. Teasing Master Takagi.
Briefly heard of it somewhere, but I have not seen this anime.
Yeah. Same here. I've heard about it in passing, but I've not seen anything of it. Not even the odd clip here and there on YouTube.
Will it help if I called her Forehead Chan or Forehead Lolly instead?
I'm sorry, no, but that's just bringing up that clip of like the guy screaming that Twitter is using his forehead to play tic-tac-toe.
Or that other meme where the guy's just like laughing and saying, "Look at the top of his head."
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I don't know why. This was such a meme when this anime came out, but everyone kept making fun of her forehead because it's so big. You can practically put it for rent. But as for the story, it's pretty simple, really. Takagi is teasing her classmate who she has a huge crush on, but he doesn't know that, so he's trying to get her back for all the teasing, but she just does it better. So very wholesome.
For once, we are discussing something that is not over the top chaotic and bonkers. We are now engaging into some very, very wholesome content.
Yes.
Quite a change of pace, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I do really like skill teasing Takagi, or teasing master Takagi. I don't know, that it's said very differently depending upon how you see it. But I definitely know it always ends in Takagi. But still, it's amazing. I love the teasing, and it's sort of like a wholesome love story. They're not in high school, they're like middle school, so that's how pure it is. Though there are brief glimpses to when they're adults, if it helps. So we do get to see their daughter, and it's so adorable.
I can certainly imagine how adorable it would be.
Definitely something I'd say watch if you like watching people tease each other for the sake of love,
And a lot of wholesome shenanigans.
or maybe if you want a will they, won't they, will he see storyline. So I don't think anyone's going to really complain if I'm going to put this in amazing, because I think there are better love stories out there. But Takagi is really good. She's like one of the three teasing girls of the apocalypse. Like, there's Uzaki-chan, there's Takagi, and Nagatoro. Finally, guys, a childhood classic, BayBlade. Now, for the record, we are talking about the original BayBlade series, not the reboot series, the metal series, the classic BayBlade.
Can I just say right out the bat that when I used to watch this anime as a kid, the one thing that would always get you hyped is that opening theme song.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Let's Beyblade.
Can we agree that Beyblade's soundtrack of the original series was amazing? I think one of my favourites was Underdog.
Okay.
Yes. But again, the theme song.
The OG opening.
Such a classic. Early 2000s classic for me.
I don't think there's even a point of really talking over the story of Beyblade. What's there to go over? It involves a group that uses Beyblades and enter a tournament.
Yeah, there is something to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
They have weird shit trapped inside them.
The Bit Beasts.
Called Bit Beasts.
Yeah. Is there a
Where I
particular...
gotta say, my favourite, Dracio.
My one, even though you'd think I would like Dragoon because it's a dragon, I actually grew up with Dronza.
That was the Phoenix, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Did you have a particular one, Saku, that you liked, or can you not remember the Bit Beasts?
I can't fully remember because, again, like with some of the other animes we discussed in the past, similar to this, like with, your Bakugans and that, it's been like a long time since I've last seen this, but I did remember having fond memories of it. And, of course, buying the toys that you used to battle in, like, the small arenas when that was popular.
Yeah, because you used to actually build your Beyblade. You felt like a sense of accomplishment when you put it all together. What was it like nowadays? It's like 3 different pieces. You actually had to like build the bottom, build the top, build the metal ring, and then the Bit Beast. That was very good. I always liked toys like that. I think I still got. I definitely know I still got my old Beyblades. They're currently in storage though right now, but I still have them. But the question is, where do we rank it now? Is it a relic of its times and it's low, or do we still say it belongs in the tops?
I'd say it's sort of a fun time capsule. Yes, it is, again, from the early 2000s, and you could say to us some things about it that, are a bit rough, but, it doesn't hurt to revisit every now and then, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's the best description I can say. It's a fun, simple time capsule.
So I don't think anyone's gonna like really complain if I put this in good, because it is still pretty good.
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Like Zaku said, it is from the early 2000s, so it's a bit of a product of its time where it's like, oh, it's an anime based on a popular game at the time and manga.
And we're selling a lot of toys and that.
Is that,
Byproduct.
it definitely gives me an idea to look back on some childhood animes that we grew up upon to see if they still hold up currently with our current anime knowledge.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that is a great idea.
Maybe something we will do in the future.
Yeah. And also, if I can
Maybe.
add quickly as well, where Hawthorne says like product of its time, I think in BayBlade situation, I don't think we mean it in like a very, very bad way, but like something that you look back upon and you go, a
Yeah.
fun early 2000s anime. Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
nothing wrong
I
with
mean,
that.
I've got all of season 1 on DVD.
Mm. And it's
Nice.
going to be interesting for current Beyblade Metal fans to like look back and see where it all started. And there we have it, guys. This is 2023's random anime tier ranked. My God, I was not expecting all these to be masterpieces. I'm more surprised that we got this many masterpieces, considering my anime list's representation when it comes to these videos to throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I gotta ask, Zaku first, out of all these anime, which one of them stands out to you that you would give a try?
So I guess for one that I haven't seen, I would have to probably check out that gaming anime that you discussed. That's in the amazing tier, Liar Liar. And to revisit, since it has been a long time, maybe just for the laughs, and this may surprise you, uh, I would probably would say watch BoBoBo just because of how ridiculously funny it can be at times.
Okay, and Hawthorne, your turn. Which animes would you give a try?
So, one I would try for the first time, I think, is Oshi No Ko. Because I've heard nothing but praise about it. And for the one I haven't revisited in a long while, as I said, I have all of season 1 on DVD, the classic BayBlade.
I guess I should probably answer the question, but I've watched all these, so I would watch all these.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But if I had to pick one to like make you to like watch instantly, it would probably be, if I had to pick three, it would again be Liar Liar, Oshi No Ko, and just because I say the comedy is amazing, Trapped in a Dating Sim. So with all that being said, there's one question to you, audience. Which one of these anime would you watch? Is there anything that we ranked that you agree with? Is there anything you disagree with? Leave it all down within the comment section down below. And heck, if you like this video, go and check out our other random anime tier list video. We do this yearly, so there are about 4 others that you can dive in and watch. So with all that said and done, I'm going to get these two to watch Liar Liar. So until next time, guys, this is us signing out. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
See you later.